bikes are better. We all know Germany's known for its cars. What if I told you in many cities, most people prefer this?
Here in Germany, 40% of people ride their bike every week. And unlike the United States, where it's just for kids or for exercise, here in Berlin, we ride our bikes every day to go pretty much everywhere. It's basically our car. But unlike a car and even public transit, it's free.
Berlin has over 600 kilometers of bike lanes, which is around 400 miles, which is also around a distance from LA all the way to San Francisco, if you can believe that.
And to show you Berlin properly, we're gonna take you all the way from the district of Prenzlauer down to Kreuzberg to show you a special place that only a real Berliner would know.
Super special, really cool. In Berlin and a bunch of other cities here in Germany, biking isn't just, you know, an activity that you do for fun. It's actually part of your everyday life. It's a tool to get places. Hi.
Hi.
Geoff.
Yo.
There's a beer garden right here. Should we?
This is all right.
Could be worse. Especially compared to the US, Berlin has really fantastic bicycle infrastructure. Bike lanes have multiple lanes where, you know, turn left, turn right, plus the lights, red, yellow, green, the whole shebang that you also have with the car, you know?
Yeah, it's a much safer situation because the lights are timed specifically for you as a bicyclist to go when it is safest. And as you can see back here, is that most of the bike lanes are actually on the sidewalk, which again is safe because you're away from the cars, these crazy people back here, you're off on the sidewalk. But as a pedestrian, if you don't know the situation, especially if you're coming from the US, when you're not used to this at all, you could end up veering onto a bike path and not even knowing it.
And you know, you see red, that's probably a bike lane.
Right.
So just watch out, because you're gonna hear the bell, a lot of bells coming out, and you don't wanna be that tourist who hears that.
But I've had so many times tourists, you know, taking photos and they just veer in and I go by them and they're like, what? And I'm like, bike lane.
That shit hurts when you run into someone. But the best one is the Fahrradstraße.
The Fahrradstraße, baby.
The bicycle street, which are streets that are made only for bicycles. And what's cool is the only cars allowed on these streets are if you only live there or, you know, delivery trucks, things like that. But besides that, there's no through traffic.
Absolutely. It's the reverse of the normal situation. On a Fahrradstraße, on a cycle street, the bicycle has the right of way.
Right.
The cars are only guests. The cars have to go the speed of the bicycles. The cars cannot whip around and pass the bicycles. So you basically just have to wait. And as a bicyclist, you can be with your, you know, your wife or your boyfriend on the right side by side.
Hold hands together, and no one can, you know, rush us out of the way, and it's beautiful. And a great side effect is that the streets are way quieter, there's less pollution, it's actually like a beautiful and just more peaceful area to be around.
Just look out for the big blue circle on the ground and you're good to go.
Good to go.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is a Fahrradreparatur-Station.
That it is.
Also known as a bicycle repair station. Now, the past year or two, right? They've added about 20 or so of these throughout Berlin. This is a free place for you to pump up your bike. You got a screw loose, you know?
Look.
Actually, here, Alex, like, show them how to put this up.
Pretty much take it, you put it up here, and then boomtown, you're good
Boom
to
goes
go.
the dynamite, yeah. Now you can work, you got a little loose hex bolt, whatever. So let's go ahead and open this bad boy up and show them what's going on.
Yeah.
Take this down for a moment. Now, Alex is not the smartest. He does not have a bike stand. It could be beautiful in a situation like this.
I don't, but
I am gonna lean
there's
it.
a bike stand right here.
As you'll see, we got every tool on the planet. We got a couple of wrenches, we got some Allen keys, probably imperial and metric.
I don't know.
Perfect for if you have a flat, if you have something going on. Now you have a free station to check these out. There's one at Alexanderplatz. They're now all over the city and they're continually adding more. And I think these are pretty freaking cool.
I think what's really cool too is that it's free. So I put 50 cents in.
It's basically a deposit, right? It's a fund.
Yeah, it's the same system that they have for grocery store carts.
Now, Alex, didn't you say your tire's a little flat? Maybe we should
I think we should
give a little demonstration.
It is a little flat, yeah.
Pump this bad boy up. I don't really need one of these because my bike pack always has a toolkit, first aid kit, all that stuff, and a little mini bike pump. Not to brag, but just...
Not all of us are like Geoff and don't know anything about anything.
But for those of you who are unprepared, this is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. A good thing is a lot of bike stores do have a free pump outside, just kind of hanging out there you can use. So if these aren't around in your neighborhood or your area, it's fine. And now I'm pumped up, 3 cents back, call it a day.
Look at him go, baby. You know what's worse than getting your bike stolen?
What?
Not filing your US taxes on time. But luckily, as Americans living abroad in Germany or wherever, we're granted an automatic extension to June 16th to get our taxes to the IRS.
But if you want even more time,
4 extra months.
you must file a free extension soon. You can do that easily with myexpattaxes.com. But you gotta hurry up because you have till June 16th, so get on it.
And we all know that filing taxes is a pain in the ass, but My Expat Taxes is a super easy to use software specifically designed for people like me and Alex, Americans living abroad. And we've both used their software to do our taxes for years.
To help us avoid common mistakes that can lead to penalties, help determine correct filing statuses so you don't get double taxed through either the
Foreign earned income exclusion or the foreign tax credit.
That's it.
You can do your US taxes in as little as 30 minutes because all you need to do is answer simple questions written in easy to understand English, not crazy technical tax terms.
Go to myexpattaxes.com to get the help you need to file your US taxes. I think the sentiment in the United States is that biking is like for kids and not really what adults do to get from place to place.
Right, it's something kids do for fun, or if you are an adult, it's, you know, you're going to like work on your thighs, it's for exercise.
Right, it's an exercise machine, not really a mode of transportation or something.
You put your biking gear on, you go out for 2 hours and you come back home.
Yeah.
And then you change and now you're on the rest of the day, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I have family back in the US who are big into cycling. You know, they do 200, 300K. They love going up like, you know, grades that basically are vertical. They're doing that on the weekends, but they're not using their bike to go to work, to go buy groceries because, you know, the infrastructure isn't really there. You know what I mean? Because, you know, as a kid, I mean, especially before you turn 16, I don't know about you, but me and my friends, every day it was like, dude, let's meet up. We get on our bikes. We called it towning it, you know, to go into the town.
Oh yeah.
Just do our circle, you know?
Let's go for drives. Turning 16, as every American knows, is like the birthday.
Right. And unfortunately, in the US, you ditch your bike. Like, you don't think about your bike ever again, really.
No,
you know what I mean?
never.
It goes into your backyard, it's covered in the cobwebs, you know what I mean?
Maybe give it to your niece or nephew in the future or something like that, but it's definitely not something you cherish. Another great thing about, there's an awesome dog over there, the giant stick, okay. Another great thing about having a bike actually is literally just like the cost. And when you really think about it,
Lack of it.
or yeah, I guess lack of it. When you have a car, you have car insurance, gas, petrol, whatever you want to call it.
Every
just
3 months, you're getting that
maintenance,
oil change. You know,
Oil
you're getting the air filters.
winter tires, all that shit.
Like, I've been using the same bike for 12 years. Now, it's not the best of condition.
But it gets you point A to point B.
It gets the job done. And yeah, in Berlin, you could easily get a bike for 50 bucks, but it's most likely stolen. So,
yeah, I'm trying to
don't be surprised if the owner comes looking for
right.
knocking on your door asking for it back.
Try to get your bikes from, you know, a fairly reputable source if you can. Here, people are used to being around bikes.
Because usually, even the people who do drive cars, they are also cyclists.
Unless you're a taxi driver,
Yeah.
they hate bikers.
Yeah, so it's something that they're thinking about. But in the US, if you're going straight, almost anybody who's turning right, they're not thinking about looking in their mirror for a bicycle coming down the road like they do here. You know what I mean? So like, you're more likely to get hurt. It happens, you know. Very rarely have a bike lane. Usually you're just on the right side of the road, right? And there's no line, you know what I mean?
Even
Like,
though by law, you can ride where the cars do ride too.
Right.
Share the road.
But people in the US, and I see so many videos of this, they just, for some reason, hate cyclists, you know?
Right.
Like, they're back there, they're honking them. They don't want to share the road with cyclists. They kind of view them as like an annoyance.
Annoyances. I think just driving a car all the time naturally makes people a little more
Tense?
angry at things and tense because, you know, road rage, traffic, all these things. I don't know, when you're in a car and you're driving, it's stressful.
And a lot of car owners are like, yeah, it's all well and good, but you know, can't go to the hardware store, you know, with your bike. You can't go grocery shopping with your bike. What are you gonna do when you have kids? All that kind of stuff. Now, you absolutely can do all those things with a bike.
Can we show you?
We'll show you. Let's show you. You ready to go shopping? I don't really want super soft. What's just like average soft?
Cuddled butthole.
I want to feel something. Young Gouda. Gouda? Gouda? Don't know.
How are you gonna take all of this home?
Well, let me show you. Because you're thinking there's no way all of this can fit, but that's the beauty of the bike bag. Now, the whole key is let the bike carry it for you. Don't have something on your back. Get all sweaty. What are you gonna do with this? See this bad boy?
There it is.
There it is. And this right here, look, is only about half of what me and my wife normally buy when we do a weekly shop, so I can carry a lot more. I've carried actual 2x4s on this bike.
Now, if you're worried about where you want to park your bike, as you can see, there are parking spots friggin' everywhere around the city.
Especially at a popular place like the Proctor Beer Garden, you'll definitely find a place to park your bike.
It's actually a bike demo going on right now. Well, and a really important thing, of course, is to lock your bike, because I think one of the biggest crimes in Berlin is getting your bike stolen. So investing in a really good lock is expensive, but it's worth it. Sometimes you might be locking a 60-year-old bike with a 100-year-old lock. And even with a good lock, chances are it might get stolen anyways. If you're smart, you can hide it behind something. Germany is, of course, a very, very big car country where cars make a big part of the economy, and they do love their cars. You know, Mercedes, BMWs, Audis, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
They love it.
Yeah.
But in a big city like Berlin, people don't really need a car.
And in Germany, there are over 80 million bikes. So basically there's one bike for every German.
There's more.
Of course, you know, some people have two or three, and there are some people who are crazy
Don't
enough
have
who don't
bikes.
have a single one. Germans, especially German children, to be very independent. They don't need their mom, their dad to drive them to go meet old Timmy over on the other side of town. You hop on your bike and they go, you know what I mean?
They can ride like an adult would. So it's really nice as you're a child. You have a lot more freedom and independence. And also, if you're new to the city, it's a great way to learn the city. You can take the U-Bahns and S-Bahns all you want.
Right.
It's also a great way to get around.
Right.
But
We don't want to trash the public transit. Of
course not. Love public
We're about to
transport.
trash the public transit.
just a little bit. But when you're underground, you can't see the city around you, so station to station, which is kind of like me. So it took me longer to learn the city because I didn't ride my bike when I first got here.
Right.
And now I ride more. I kind of know where to go now. And it's kind of a cool feeling to understand your city more.
Yeah, this is probably great in Berlin and Hamburg and Munich,
wherever.
etc. But cycling is also big in the villages. We've actually found that most of the time, the cycling paths in the villages are even
Gorgeous.
nicest, better quality than in the city.
They're also not being ridden as much as
Right.
the ones in the city, so it's really nice.
They look very fresh.
Like last weekend, for example, I was in a small little called Kleinstadt. It's like a small city.
Or Dorf.
Not really a Dorf, a Kleinstadt.
Okay, a little bit bigger than a Dorf.
Yeah,
Okay.
like a smaller city,
Don't know
20,000
why.
people, so to say. There, it was a very hilly city. I was like, oh, not great to bike. What I saw everywhere was e-bikes. And I guess e-bikes
Yeah.
are a great way, especially if you're older, a great way to get around, stay fit. And even if you are younger, you don't want to take hills all the time to get to work and sweat.
Yeah, because you're in the small villages and you do see 70, 80-year-olds, people still
Biking.
cycling. And when they physically can't do it anymore, they have an e-bike, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so when they run out of gas, they literally give it some gas, you know what I'm saying?
And of course, if you do get tired, you don't want to ride your bike anymore, there are special wagons on every S-Bahn and U-Bahn where you can put your bike safely and, you know, have a seat. What's it gonna cost you? $2.50. Jeff,
What?
would you like a little cafe or an Aperol Spritz?
Ooh. So yeah, we didn't want to bother the cafe people, so
No coffee.
no Aperol Spritz. But anyways, perfect time to talk about safety. Now, we talk about all the positives of riding a bike in Berlin and in Germany, but we should mention that it can be dangerous.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even as a pedestrian, it can be dangerous, you know, because a lot of the bike lanes are on the sidewalk or on the street. So just watch out, don't get hit by a bike.
That actually happened to me a few years ago. A tourist who wasn't watching just stepped right onto a bike path with his AirPods in, and I hit him and it broke my arm, and it still hurts to this day. So be careful, because you can change people's lives if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, totally. And also, like we said before, you know, they have the lights for the bike lanes, the red, yellow, and green. You're not a pedestrian, you are on a vehicle technically. So
Yeah.
don't be a dick.
And one last thing I should mention, which probably a lot of you have seen by looking at our heads, is that we have not been wearing helmets. Now, all I can say is I'm a pretty practical, safety conscious kind of guy, but I would say not wearing helmets is probably one of the stupidest things I do. Can't really give you much more than that. It's a stupid thing. I do not recommend it.
Wear a helmet.
Wear a
Just be
helmet.
smart, wear a helmet. We're not smart. Don't be idiots like us.
Yeah. We're getting excited. We're at this very special place in about, what, 20 minutes? We're
Could be.
finally going to see it.
So where we are right now is underneath the U1 line right here in Berlin in Kreuzberg.
Which is a subway, but above ground.
And as you can see behind us, a long path.
A 9-kilometer stretch.
And this is eventually the plan to make a bike highway.
so you can quickly get from one side of Kreuzberg to another.
Where there's gonna be a place for people to chill and sit. There'll be lights up above. There's gonna be bike repair kits around the area.
Because this is a very underutilized space. You know, this is an elevated subway line and it's being used for nothing. It's technically a walking path, but nobody uses it because you have big sidewalks on either side of the street.
And you'll see as we're filming right now, there's no one walking in front of us. There's nobody behind us.
Right.
It's just here. So why not make it into like a super highway for bikes?
Yeah, so that'll be super excited.
The super planning stages. But it's pretty cool.
Super
and,
planning.
Super planning.
Super
duper planning
planning the
stages.
shit out of these things.
It's actually really cool. So I hope, you know, eventually Berlin can kind of be like more of an Amsterdam type.
The future of Berlin is looking pretty cool.
We'll see.
I think.
I hope.
Yeah.
All right, so we are finally here at the place.
I'm super excited to show you.
Yeah, really pumped to see what it's gonna be, and it should be.
I'm
It's gone.
pretty sure it's closed.
Whiskey?
Yeah.
And everyone, again, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate all of you. If you want to learn what it's like to pee in Berlin, click right over there.
Or watch one of our other videos and please subscribe, it helps us out.
And everyone, of course, please stay safe, stay healthy, and
Stay thirsty.
that's it.